Hey everybody, welcome to Rob Squad and the Creators. As always, you are here with your boy Jay.
Hey y'all, you're also here with your girl Amber. And there was a wellspring of new sounds coming from England in the late 1970s and early 80s. Recently, we've been really lucky to meet some of the amazing artists from that period. So today, we are utterly thrilled to have as our guest all week, Andy McCluskey from the band Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark. We loved reacting to Enola Gay and If You Leave. So today we can't wait to hear more from Andy McCluskey.
From OMD. Welcome in, Andy. Thanks for coming and joining us.
I'm delighted to be with you. Thank you very much indeed. And also, you're using the full name of the band, Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, not the abbreviation. I like that.
Well, I have to ask about the name because it was one of the first things when people suggested you guys to us. I was like, now what kind of name is this? So I got to know, how did you guys come about? Like, how did that name come about?
We used to go to a little club in Liverpool called Eric's Club, and it was right across the road from where the Cavern Club was, where the Beatles started and all the Merseybeat.
Yeah.
We would go there and watch cool bands, and they had a policy on Thursday nights of letting local artists play. So we went and knocked on the door and said, can we come and play? We're not punk, we're not new wave. There's just me and Paul, and well, I got a tape recorder and we'll do our kind of electric thing. And we thought they'd tell us to get lost. They said, yeah, great, what are you called? Yeah. And we went, oh, we actually haven't got a name. We thought you'd tell us to go away. So went home, looked on my bedroom wall, and we just went, we need a weird name. There's two of us in a tape recorder in a punk club. We need Orchestral Manoeuvres. That'll do. We're only going to do one gig. It doesn't matter. Here we are now, nearly 46 years later with the same damn name. Doesn't mean a thing. It was just pretentious and preposterous.
I love that you came up with a name that like instantly grabs people's attention. It's because it is preposterous, but you like it, right? I mean, it's got a certain level of class and quirk to it.
Do you know what, Amber? Everybody who started in that club, because there was a load of bands who became internationally famous, they all had weird names. There was nobody called the something or the, Joe and the blah. It was Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, A Flock of Seagulls, Echo and the Bunnymen, Teardrop Explodes. You had to have a crazy name.
Yeah.
The story's funny. What's your name? Oh, shoot, we didn't think we'd get this far.
Totally. That's exactly what happened.
You guys really did get really creative with the names of your bands. Like Flock of Seagulls is one of my favorite, my favorite examples of just like an out of the box name. And they definitely had names that stood out. That's awesome.
And you mentioned your partner, Paul. You guys met in primary school. What was it like having a musical partner, for that long?
Yeah.
We weren't making music when we were 7 when we first met. He was just a new boy, and he was actually in a different year to me, but we knew each other. And then when I was 16, for my birthday, I said, give me money, I'm going to buy a bass guitar. And I was walking around the local park with my bright red bass guitar over my shoulder, like you do. Oh, you've just noticed my bass guitar? Yes, I've got a new bass guitar. Paul had seen me, and his mates wanted a bass player in the band. So he knocked on the door. And very quickly, Paul and I realized that we had more in common musically. So we would go around to his mum's house on a Saturday afternoon and just make weird noises. But we never thought we'd ever do music. It was just a hobby. We never thought we'd do music. Paul has framed. His mother kept his school report when he was 11 years old. And his teacher wrote, Paul has no musical aptitude whatsoever. So it was like...
Oh my God.
They said they were just going out there making noise.
Yeah, so when, he and I were both kicked out of the school recorder group when we were kids because we'd go play football. We never bothered to learn how to play. So we would sit on a table of girls because the girls could always play. Both of us did this. We'd sit there and mime. And that was our first introduction to music, just miming, hoping that nobody. The smart until the teacher says, "Andrew, can you play that part on your own?" And go, "No, I can't, miss." Get out the group. So that was our introduction to music, was miming at the age of 10, and then we started making weird noises when we were 16.
I feel like this could have been such a fun movie, like the childhood friends, like the Goonies or the Outsiders, right? Like the two kids and the two boys in class who weren't supposed to be musically inclined and would rather go and play football, go and become so successful and make such great and cool music.
Yeah, it was nuts because I mean, even when we started making the music, we didn't dare play it for people when we were 16. Because our friends were into like Genesis and Pink Floyd. This was before punk had happened. This was like 75. So we were making this weird music, and our friends just didn't think it was music. They didn't like it at all. So we just stayed at home, and it took years for us to finally dare to go and knock on the door in 1978 and ask to play at Eric's and invent the name of the band. But the one thing we did do when we were 16, we wrote a song called Electricity that did become our very first single.
And I hope that's what you're bringing to us today, is Electricity?
You're absolutely right. That's what I want to play first.
I'm ready to check it out. Guys, make sure y'all like the video, hit subscribe, and turn on that post notification bell so you never miss a video. Again, we are today going to check out Electricity. I call them ODM.
OMD.
OMD. Amber calls them Orchestral Maneuvers in the dark. Let's go ahead and jump right into it and check it out. The bass in this.
Oh my goodness.
If you have a close-up look at the bass again, the strings are upside down, Jay. I learnt on a lefty bass, so the strings are upside down.
Did you just say you learned on a lefty bass?
Yeah, well, I told you on my 16th birthday, I said, everybody, give me money. I'm going to go and buy a bass guitar. I went to the secondhand, just like a pawn shop, basically. And the only one I could afford, the cheapest one, because it was a lefty. I went, okay, well, I'm buying that. That's the only one I could afford. So I just turned it over and started playing with the strings upside down. And nobody ever told me you could change the nut and play. So I am the only right-handed person in the world I know that plays bass with the upside-down strings. So when my first bass guitar got stolen the first time I ever played a gig in London, I then started buying right-handed basses and turning the strings over. So I still play with the strings completely the wrong way around, but the basses are right-handed now.
I'm sitting here looking at, like, when you said that, I turned and looked at my bass, and I was like, how? Because bass is my favorite instrument. I'm slowly trying to learn how to play it. I can play a couple chords, but I could never imagine turning it over and playing that way. I think you're the only person that I know has done that.
The E string is at the bottom.
Your fat E string down at the bottom, and then and then your D at the top. So you literally strum when you're playing, just like a guitar.
Yeah, you can hold a chord like that. It's much easier.
Now
you have to watch him actually play.
I know. Now, once we're done today, I'm gonna have to go mess around and flip over my bass and just try to play around with it. Let's get back to it.
God.
bass and the piano just go so cool together in this one.
I want to play that again and
that
again.
Was so cool, was it not?
And again.
Between the bass and the keyboard or piano, that was so cool.
I loved it because like it took me a minute for it to click, right? I've like exactly what you're talking about. But when you mentioned the solar power being like the only answer and like really connecting it with you were talking about electricity. The rest of the song sounded so beautiful, even more beautiful than it did before. I fell so in love with that piano, so incredibly in love with that piano. And I loved that like it didn't really have a chorus, but it had that piano that you were kind of waiting on that you absolutely loved. And since it didn't have like that chorus, it felt like it was like a constant flow of like what electricity would feel like.
It felt very futuristic.
It felt like that constant flow of what the electricity is and all the different instruments that incorporated. Like you also captured the sound. You captured the sound of electricity and made it sound so incredibly futuristic and beautiful, but haunting, right? Because you're saying that like the electricity, it's not necessarily something that we think is good for the environment or good for the world, because you're also mentioning the only answer is solar power. So it's crazy how that all fit.
I love the way that you guys have broken this down and analyzed it all so quickly and got so much from it. I mean, you're absolutely right. Lyrically, it was about me writing about. I mean, you know, this was back in the mid '70s when I was 16. I wrote this. I'm looking at the planet, going, you know, we are burning fossil fuels here, and we need to have renewable energy. So it was quite early on to be singing about that. And if you saw what Paul's playing there, or the first three actual instruments we ever bought that had keyboards on, there was a cheap Fox Jaguar organ that cost £30 as well. The pianotron, the piano sound that you like, that was £25. Yes. And that it sounds like a toy piano, but it's just plink, plink, plink. And then the synthesizer on the top. Believe me, it's the only sound it makes. So if you like it, it's great. If you don't like it, it's horrible, because it's the only sound it makes. And then the synthesizer on top we bought from my mother's mail order catalogue for £7.76 a week for 36 weeks.
My
That's the only way we could do it. That's how we did it.
And y'all did that. It's like what you guys had to do to pull together to even create this song. And then we're just sitting here being amazed by it and lost in it. And it's like, it cost us this much to get this. We had to pull this together. This is all we had. And to us, it's like, how did you create that sound
and
at that time period? And
that was in the 70s. It's 2024, and it still sounds futuristic.
Oh my goodness.
That's the crazy part about it. It's like, it's 2024, and that still sounds like it could be from the future.
Yeah.
Can you guys write my press releases? I love the way you're analyzing the music.
Sign us up.
It's cool.
I was so captivated by so many different sounds, and I just think it's crazy and amazing to hear how you guys even got to the point of getting on the stage and making that, or even starting off as being friends in primary school and then making noises in one of your mother's garages and before that being told that, or before that, sitting at the table with the girls and faking like you're playing the music, to getting to the point to where we have masterpieces like this. I love the kind of time period that you set for us and kind of seeing how it all came about. It's a really unique perspective.
That riff was still that dun-dun.
Oh,
it's still playing in my head right now, even though we're talking. It's still
Who
in
is
my
the
head.
keyboard player?
Paul started the band with me. I mean, we started as a two-piece, and none of our friends wanted to play with us. That's why we had to have a tape recorder.
Okay.
And in fact, the tape recorder sat on the stage in the middle where the drummer would be.
Yeah.
And in Britain, the Musicians Union had a campaign because they didn't like synthesizers and anything electronic because they thought it was putting musicians out of a job. So we had the tape recorder there, and these big Musicians Union yellow stickers that said "Keep Music Live" were on the spools going round playing the backing track, which is our form of irony, I guess.
That is so funny.
That was great.
It has been such a thrill to have you today, bringing us the song Electricity. We cannot wait to have you through the rest of the week and bring some more really, really cool songs. Like I said, just futuristic. That's a song. I feel like that's a tune, just that repetitive tune. I feel like I will always remember. It was such a cool part of the song. And between the keyboard and the bass, the way that they were kind of just playing off each other, like I said, was such a cool effect to it that to me gave it that really, like I said, 2024 gave it like a 2048 type of futuristic sound. It was cool. But again, thank you so much for joining us today, and going to be able to have you for the rest of the week, Mr. McCluskey. But before we let you go, anything you'd like to let the RSR family know? Any upcoming shows? Any new albums coming out?
We had a new album out at the end of last year called Bauhaus Staircase. We're coming back in May and June. Every ticket, every theatre, every seat is the same. We're just changing the date. So that's something that I think your viewers might need to know.
Awesome.
We'll have to go check that show out. We love you guys. We thank y'all. And remember, every single day that you guys wake up, it is truly a blessing and that you are blessed. And for all of you new RSR family members that hit that subscribe button down below, we welcome you guys to the RSR family. But at the end of the day, we always have the same goal. Let them know.
All right, y'all, as a collective, we can go out in this world and spread so much light and so much love if we put our best foot forward, offer some grace, maybe make somebody smile. And if you can't do that, make yourself smile. That's the most important one of the day, you guys.
We love you guys. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.